In this video, let's talk about an old book. The reason why I'm going to share this book because this is a very precious series book in ancient Korea, and the earliest version of this series might be more than 500 years old. Meanwhile, it also is a book to study the language development of hundreds of years ago. But today, I'm only a beginner in Korean alphabet, and honestly, I still can't know the grammar of modern Korean. So, this video also is a preliminary study. Okay, now, what is this book? And this is Nogeoldae and Old Kasem in English. When I first heard about this book, I just wondered why this book had such a name, and even this name is a little bit weird. But after knowing the original source, I finally can understand it more. The term Nogeoldae, it should be from Middle Chinese pronunciation, Kitam.
기타이, 키타이, 키다이.
But compared with the Korean Nogeoldae
걸대,
and the Middle Chinese Kitam, it seems that both pronunciations are not really same. So maybe I should further study this point in the future about the original source of Nogeoldae. Overall, basically, this word Nogeoldae probably was a transliteration of Kitam, which was the rulers of northern China during the Liao dynasty. So the Liao dynasty also had another name, the Khitan state. At first, this term probably referred to the ancient people who lived in northern China in the geography of Nogeoldae. Gradually, this term later became a general designation for China and the Chinese people. Thus, Nogeoldae refers to the Chinese, while No, since the Tang Dynasty, has been used as a prefix to convey familiarity or affection. The development of Nogeoldae closely followed the evolution of spoken Chinese and the societal needs, undergoing multiple revisions and forming several versions. The first edition should be from the mid-14th century. The first Nogeoldae was originally compiled in 1346 by a Goryeo merchant. It serves as a key textbook for learning language in the Yuan dynasty. By the 15th century, Goryeo became Joseon, and it became a required text for Joseon interpreters. The version closest to the original, dated to the early 15th century, was rediscovered in 1998 in Taegu by bibliographers. In 1483, Nogeoldae continued changing. The feature of this revision was to reflect and align the main Mandarin Chinese language. It says that it was a Chinese scholar to do this revision project. In the 16th century, based on the last version, Chou Senjin, who was a Korean linguist and a translator and interpreter of the Chinese language during the Joseon dynasty, created the translated Nogeoldae in the early 16th century. This version annotated Chinese version in Hangul and translated into Korean colloquial language. In 1670, the Bureau of Interpreters published the Hangul annotated version, which updated the pronunciations and translations to reflect the linguistic norms of the 17th century. And also, there was a Pingyang version that was especially published in Pingyang in 1745, in 1761, and also in the Qing Dynasty era. Nogeoldae continued updating and revising, because the Korean language and the Mandarin Chinese were still changing as well. In order to reflect the Mandarin Chinese in the Qing Dynasty, there were several newer versions that came published, and even also added a new language version, and this is the Manchu language version. So during such many versions, in more than 500 years, this series book also recorded many languages. First of all, there were Middle Korean and early Modern Korean. Then, the corresponding translated language had the Ming Dynasty Mandarin Chinese, the Qing Dynasty Mandarin Chinese, and the Mongolian Manchu language. It says that there was a Japanese version, but this version might not be included in Nogeoldae series, but it might be included into other Korean translation books. Here, I want to share one of the versions of the books. This is the Manchu version, because this book was published in the 18th century. This Korean was the early modern Korean, at least based on the good result of Google Translate. I think early modern Korean may be really similar to modern Korean, except for the modern vocabulary and some popular expressions. Additionally, I have compared the Manchu version with the Chinese version. I found two interesting parts. One, the text dialogues was the same. In other words, this series book used the same Korean text, and the people translated into different versions. Some later versions even had pronunciation marks that were marked by Hangul. Like in this Chinese version, every Chinese character had a pronunciation mark, and in the Manchu version, the situation is the same. Every Manchu word had a pronunciation mark as well. Then, the other part is the reading direction. Because the Han Chinese and the Korean reading direction are the same, from the up to down, and from right to left. This bilingual book still kept this reading direction, but the Manchu reading direction is the same as the Mongolian reading direction. So it was read from up to down, but from left to right. Therefore, in the Manchu-Korean bilingual book, all of the reading order was the Manchu order. So not only the Korean text, but also the Manchu text. Both text was reading from up to down and from left to right. So this is today's video, and thank you for watching. Hope you can like this video. Have a good day. See you next time.